This is Connor,
and Adrian.
and we are presenting Super Size Me.
Throughout this class, we have gone over how the stories we live by can affect the rest of the world, and how through changing these stories, we can change the future and become more aware of our consumption and its impact on the environment.
Super Size Me is a 2004 health documentary made by Morgan Spurlock. In this documentary, Spurlock personally explores the effects fast food has on his body, both mentally and physically, when he subjects himself to solely eating McDonald's for a month. Throughout the documentary, Spurlock meets with both professionals and consumers alike and gets their opinions on the positive and negative effects of the fast food industry.
A lot more people eat out now and they're paying for it, not only with their wallets but with their waistlines. Over 1/3 of adults in the United States are obese, and 1 out of 6 children are as well. This is largely a part of the mass consumption of fast food and the unhealthy lifestyle brought with it. This affects the future generation because many of them will grow up to develop deadly chronic diseases.
Everything's bigger in America. We've got the biggest cars, the biggest houses, the biggest companies, the biggest food, and finally, the biggest people. America has now become the fattest nation in the world. Congratulations. Nearly 100 million Americans are today either overweight or obese. That's more than 60% of all U.S. adults. Since 1980, the total number of overweight and obese Americans has doubled, with twice as many overweight children and 3 times as many overweight adolescents. The fattest state in America? Mississippi, where 1 in 4 people are obese. I grew up in West Virginia, currently the 3rd fattest state in America. When I was growing up, my mother cooked dinner every single day.
Spurlock looks in depth into how our society is largely based around the consumption of products, not only in fast food, but in everything else as well. Almost every industry in America is based off of the ideology that our consumption of goods should drive society. We live in a nation of consumerism, and the environment is paying for it.
Super Size Me poses the question to society of how we are expected to work towards a healthier planet if the majority of our population is living obese, unhealthy lives. Super Size Me challenges the American ideology of mass consumerism by advocating for reducing our consumption of fast food products. This can be linked across American society to other industries as well. Consumerism is a disease. Our society is obsessed with getting the next big thing, whether it be the next iPhone or the latest clothing trends. This endless cycle harms the environment when millions of products each year are thrown out in favor of the newest version.
Super Size Me attempts to change the story we live by in regards to our society's consumption of temporary products. It invites us to consider changing our habits to ones that affect the environment less. Some of these changes include switching to a vegan or vegetarian diet that leaves less of an impact on the environment. These diets reduce the consumption of meat, which in turn reduces the carbon imprint left behind by the meat industry. This means that the carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere is reduced, thus decreasing global warming. According to researchers at the University of Oxford, they found that cutting meat and dairy products from your diet can reduce an individual's carbon footprint from food by up to 73%.
Although society is all aware that fast food is unhealthy, fast food restaurants continue to stay in business because of the price and convenience of the food. Americans tend to have this identity that what they do themselves won't impact the rest of the world. People tend to think that even if they start to change their lifestyle to one that is more environmentally friendly, it won't make a difference. Therefore, society as a whole needs to work towards finding more environmentally conscious ways to consume. Some companies have already started towards this through several different ways. For example, companies have started to use recyclable containers and products that have less of an environmental impact.
Fast food companies have started to frame themselves as being healthy. For example, after the release of Super Size Me, McDonald's came out with a line of salads. One of these salads, the ranch chicken, contained more calories than a Big Mac. This has become common in the fast food industry because by framing their products as healthy, they get more customers to their stores. This leads to consumers of fast food thinking that these fast food companies are now healthy, which only encourages them to consume even more of these products, thus increasing consumerism and the effect on the environment.
Super Size Me pushes for society to change the way it views the fast food industry. The fast food industry has an immense negative effect on the environment and society, and should be seen as such. Fast food needs to be reframed and seen as the unhealthy, harmful industry it is. This would reduce the popularity of fast food and reduce consumption, which in turn would benefit the environment.
Super Size Me discusses how fast food companies form an evaluation pattern that makes themselves look good and positive by advertising their company in certain ways to consumers starting at a very young age. Fast food companies may use different strategies, but their goal is always the same: to create a relationship that connects food to the child and makes them want to continue eating at a particular restaurant in the future as they grow up. Examples include cartoon characters in ads, which appeal to children, as well as fast food companies including toys with kids' meals. Super Size Me discusses how this affects the kids later on in life when they are more likely to become regular consumers of fast food. This increases consumption, which increases the effect on the environment. In order to change this, society needs to teach children about making better food choices that are healthier for themselves and for the planet. By developing a love for foods like fruit and vegetables rather than fries and chicken nuggets, the children will grow up to make better decisions later in life that positively affect both their health and the environment.
Super Size Me is the name McDonald's used for a promotional offer that would upgrade your size of fries and drink for barely any additional cost. Throughout the documentary, Spurlock makes it a rule to always upgrade to a supersize if he is asked by the McDonald's employee. Super Size Me is a metaphor in itself for the effect the fast food is having on the consumers. Consumers are literally becoming supersized to an unhealthy weight level, and a lot of this is due to the availability of cheap, unhealthy fast food. Fast food companies are promoting the consumption of unhealthy levels of food and drink, all so they can increase the profit. This promotion also tricks consumers into thinking they need to supersize because it is so cheap to upgrade. This can be seen as a metaphor for how our society frequently consumes more than is necessary because it is a good deal. Consumers see products they don't even need and would never use on sale and convince themselves that they should buy it, only because of the deal they don't want to miss out on. Super Size Me urges its viewers to change the way they consume and think about if they actually need the product they're buying, or if there's a better alternative that would be better for the environment.
I know what you're saying. You're saying nobody's supposed to eat this food 3 times a day. No wonder all this stuff happened to you. But the scary part is, there are people who eat this food regularly. Some people even eat it every day. So while my experiment may have been a little extreme, it's not that crazy. But here is a crazy idea. Why not do away with your supersize options? Who needs 42 ounces of Coke, a half pound of fries? And why not give me a choice besides French fries or French fries? That would be a great start. But why should these companies want to change? Their loyalty isn't to you, it's to the stockholders. The bottom line, they're a business, no matter what they say. And by selling you unhealthy food, they make millions. And no company wants to stop doing that. If this ever-growing paradigm is going to shift, it's up to you. But if you decide to keep living this way, go ahead. Over time, you may find yourself getting as sick as I did, and you may wind up here. Or here. I guess the big question is, who do you want to see go first? You or them?
Consumerism is a social and economic order that encourages the purchase of goods and services in ever greater amounts. Super Size Me showcases this wasteful and unhealthy cycle through the fast food industry that America continues to promote. Our society has a problem with the mass consumption of fast food, which will lead to problems down the road in terms of the health of people and the environment. Super Size Me was successful in reducing some of the problems that came with the consumption of fast food. Schools have begun to ban soft drinks due to them causing students to gain weight. Vegan and vegetarian diets that promote a healthy environment are becoming more and more popular in today's society. Super Size Me has acted as a change agent that was able to open society's eyes to the issues that come with our consumerism tendencies. And while society still has a long way to go, Super Size Me has helped reduce consumption and reduce the impact we have on the environment.